Today on Classroom Dynamics.
Definitely creativity. That's the biggest thing, like the whole creative aspect of it and kind of just following your dreams. That's a big one that I feel like in school, you can kind of be enclosed to like 8 periods a day, same subject, whatever, that type of stuff. But just going outside of the box and outside of those boundaries to do what you want to do in life and encourage you to like explore all these different cool careers and not even careers, but also just like passions and hobbies, exploring that and being encouraged to like use your creativity, use your mind and do what you want to do is definitely one of the biggest things.
Welcome to the place where ideas collide. Adam Todd's here to be your guide. For teachers and techies, chasing the spark. Classroom dynamics, where we leave our mark. Let's dive in deep, the future's bright. Innovation shines like morning light. Teachers and tech, hand in hand we go. Welcome to the Classroom Dynamics Show.
Classroom Dynamics is sponsored in part by Logitech Education, empowering student voice and creativity with innovative tools like the Logitech Reach Adjustable Content Camera and the Zone Learn headset designed specifically for student comfort and focus. Discover how Logitech is transforming classrooms at logitech.com/education. Welcome to Classroom Dynamics, the podcast where we unlock the future of education. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Adam Todd, and today's guest proves that age is just a number when passion meets purpose. At just 11 years old, Kiran Madan turned a simple idea of selling mini cake donuts in his neighborhood during the pandemic into a thriving small business. Now the founder of Delicious Donuts Incorporated, Kiran is handcrafting creative flavors, building community, and even authoring his own cookbook, The Donut Way. Today, we'll sprinkle in lessons on creativity, business sense, branding, and resilience, and how educators can help students realize that their ideas are worth a whole lot more than they think. And it's all coming up next on Classroom Dynamics, your weekly professional reset. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Classroom Dynamics is brought to you in part by Higher Ground Gear and the Vaulted Cell Phone Pouch, the smarter, faster way to create phone-free classrooms. Built with military-grade construction, RF shielding, and a high-decibel Velcro closure that stops distractions before they start, Vaulted keeps learning focused and secure. No locks, no end-of-the-day bottlenecks, just durable, easy-to-clean protection that gives students what they need most: attention, connection, and calm. Upgrade your school's approach to distraction-free learning with Vaulted at Higher Ground Gear. For more information, visit hggear.com today or contact us at info@hggear.com. Bullying affects every school, but together we can change the story. Box Out Bullying brings powerful bullying prevention education to life through engaging interactive theater that gets students thinking, participating, and learning in meaningful ways. Through dynamic school assemblies, classroom workshops, and training for educators and families, Box Out Bullying equips entire school communities with the tools to build empathy, confidence, and respect. Whether in person or online, these high-energy programs inspire students to be upstanders, not bystanders, and help create safer, more inclusive learning environments. Make your school a place where every student feels seen, supported, and valued. Box Out Bullying. Empower, include, respect. For more, visit boxoutbullying.com today. My guest today says that food can bring people and community together, and that trial and error is what helped him propel his donut company to where it is today. To discuss this and a whole lot more, I'd like to welcome the creator of Delicious Donuts, 14-year-old Kiran Madan, to Classroom Dynamics. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here today.
This is really cool because I am a big sweets kind of person. I like chocolate, but I don't shy away from much in the realm of the dessert section of the food pyramid, which I know doesn't exist, but it exists for me. So welcome to the show. And I want to talk about like this whole idea of where all this stuff came from. You started your business, Delicious Donuts, at just 11 years old. What was the moment that you realized this wasn't just a hobby, not something fun to do with mom or dad on the side in the kitchen at home, but it actually was the beginning of a business? So what was that moment for you?
It was really the first time I went outside of like my building park and I sold these donuts in the street. I realized that this was the moment that like this was more than just a business. It was actually like, this was more than just a hobby. It was actually a business. It was something I wanted to do. And I found like not only just a love of the baking side of it, but I also found a love of just doing the business stuff, like making cool like graphics and stuff like that and posting on Instagram. And I just kind of found a love from there of all that. And it just grew from there. I didn't have a big goal in mind. I didn't start with like, I want to do this, I want to do that. It was just like, let's do it for fun and see where it takes me. And it's taken me to a place I never really thought it would come. And I'm happy to be here today.
So you kind of did the lemonade stand to a
Yeah,
whole different level, but
exactly.
incorporated social media and the technology. And of course, for someone your age, that's like almost second nature at this point, right?
Yeah. Social media has like definitely been one of the biggest. I've been found about everything basically through social media, and it's been my biggest source of growth. And through there, I've been able to connect with people and get more customers and support from all over the world.
All right, and that's how we found you too. So
Yeah.
that and look, you're a New York City guy, so I have to give you props for that because if you could, right, the old saying, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. I think you've already started at a pretty early age. So let me ask you this then. What does, because obviously a business is going to be hard for someone who's 14 in high school, and what does that typical donut making day look like then? Because I have to imagine you're starting pretty early in the morning or you're doing a lot of prep. So what time do you start making the donuts?
It depends on a normal donut cart day. I would do normally Sundays 2 to 4. I also do Wednesdays 5 to 7. When daylight savings time and it's like brighter outside at the end of the day. On a Sunday, I would normally start around like 9. I don't go outside until 2 o'clock. So that's like I save that time because I actually think 2 o'clock's a better time. Like people are like donuts are a morning thing. People get them before work or whatever, but 2 o'clock is done really well. And I know that's like one of the most busiest times in my neighborhood. So I do like 2 to 4. So I would wake up at around 9 and just start making the donuts. It takes about 5 hours to do. I make the dough. I normally have the glazes and other fillings and stuff prepped from the day before or earlier that week that I kind of carry over. So I'm able to start at 9 and then I would just make the dough and then I just let it sit for an hour and a half, finish up anything else I need to do while that proofs, and then roll it out, cut it. Then I get to proofing that again, making like any of the extra stuff like the old-fashioned donuts, the cinnamon rolls, whatever, and then frying them off and topping everything and then heading outside.
It's a
Yeah.
full day.
Oh yeah, it's a full day for sure. And then when I get home, I clean up everything, which is a whole separate process. And then I'm done and I calculate kind of whatever, how much I made that day, maybe edit some videos for social media, other things like that. And that's basically it. And then like on a Wednesday, what I would do is I would actually make the donuts on Tuesday night and freeze the donuts before they were fried. So then the next day I can take them out and then let them prove and fry. So I save time and then I can do it after school.
So you're really like a one-man band for this entire operation, right? You are everything for this.
Yeah. For now, right now, yeah, it's basically just me. Like sometimes my friends will come over and help, or like sometimes if I have like a big day, like at the holiday market, I had to get up at like 3 a.m. to make donuts for that day. And I'll have a friend come over and help me. Or like at the car, sometimes my friends come and they'll help me like sell donuts there. So to ease it out.
I love the hustle. The hustle is the heart. That's you know what? Because if you, and I know there's people that are listening to, they're probably going to be shaking their head in their car as they're listening to this on their way to work or school in your case. But people who hustle really truly pave the way for success. And I love that you have that hustle in you. And speaking of hustle, by the way, you have a cookbook out and it's called The Donut Way. You talk about the creativity and the process part in that book. So how did you come up with the cookbook and all the flavors and all the everything that goes into a cookbook? I mean, wow, that's a whole other job in itself.
So the cookbook, I definitely knew I wanted to do a donut related cookbook because I make donuts for my business. So donuts were definitely the big focus there. And I knew that there's so many different types of donuts all across the world. And I want to incorporate that into the book so many different ways. I want to have donuts from different parts of the world. I have like malasadas from Hawaii, like French beignets. I have zeppelis from Italy.
Ooh.
And all these types of little like dough classics that very much show what a donut is in different countries and different parts of like cultures and communities. And I also wanted a chapter that was more connected to me. So I am half Indian. So I have a chapter dedicated to my grandmother and it's like Indian inspired donuts. And then I also have one about famous donut recipes. So I wanted to do like Krispy Kreme, Dunkin', like recreations of the famous donuts you'll find worldwide. And then I had like the laces and fillings chapter because like you were saying, creativity is the biggest thing. And I want these book to spark creativity in people and be able to make their own things and come up with their own ideas. So at the end, I have a laces and fillings chapter. So you can put whatever things you want on the donuts. You can do whatever you want with it because it's yours. And I'm just giving you the basis for that. So that was big. That was a big factor in the creativity process. And I would test a lot of these recipes, try them a lot, and just like research. I researched so much before publishing and writing everything.
And of course, being in New York City, the big melting pot of the world almost, it's a good thing that you're hitting on all these different cultures and tastes from different places around the globe, because most of the places that you're mentioning, you're going to find people who have roots here in New York City to those countries and those places around the world.
Definitely, yeah. I've been able to meet so many people from so many cultures who tell me about their experiences in food and baking and stuff like that. And it's very inspired me to do this type of thing, to connect all these people, because food is what brings people together. And no matter the culture, it can still bring people together from all over in diverse parts of the world, especially in New York City.
So what's your innovation process like? You talk about that too, just from like the idea of that trial and error portion, that guess and check. You have different recipes until you find that sweet spot. Where, like, what's that process like? Who's testing it out? Do you have other people test it out and give you feedback and kind of go back and forth to see what works and what's not working?
Yeah, for when I make seasonal donuts, I think of whatever's like in season at the time, and then I make it. And it's like the first time I'm actually planning my spring specials right now for the upcoming spring. So I'm going to come up with some ideas. I'll make it and have family, friends test it. So when I have new specials, I'll start just like researching what's in season at the time, and then I'll test the first batch, have friends, family try it, whoever's around. And then from there, I'll kind of just like know or get an idea of like what the end goal I kind of want to be, and go back in the kitchen and make it again until I can get really what gets that kind of hits the spot and what I was thinking about at the time when I was thinking of the flavor. And a lot of the specials are like are some of the most popular flavors I have. And I'm glad that like it can keep people that are like regulars coming back, because they know that they're going to be expecting a new special to be coming whenever the new season comes around. So that's definitely, I like the seasonal aspect and all of the testing, because it's also fun. Like the whole point of baking is to be able to innovate and find new recipes and stuff like that. And it's cool to just do something that's different from the same thing when I am making a new flavor.
So how many times do you have to go through a batch before you kind of say, okay, that's it, I hit it?
It depends. Like sometimes it's the first try, and sometimes it's like after like 5 tries. It depends on really how it turns out, especially if I'm making like a harder flavor or not. And sometimes like even once I release it, there's things I realized, like the first time I made like a whipped cream on top donut, I didn't think about how the whipped cream can melt once it gets outside. So I had to rethink the whole thing and figure out how to make some like stabilized whipped cream to stay on while it was still at the donut cart. So there's stuff like that I also still even think about after I publish the flavor, about how I can like tweak it to make it as good as possible for when people get it.
That's good. That's part of the hustle, by the way. Hustling to make it even better too. Sometimes you're not satisfied, even though it may be really, really good. I like that you're doing that too. Now, speaking of innovation and speaking of trying to always get better and being out there and hustling, you were featured on NBC's The Today Show. Tell me, what was that like?
Surreal. I mean, I was so scared going into that. Like the first, the hours, the few days before, and it felt like a weight was lifted off my back when it was done. But it was so cool to just meet everybody and get on there and get some attention I really wanted. I've seen other kids or other people on the Today Show. I was like, I want to go on the Today Show. But they found me on Instagram, just like all these things, social media, and they reached out to me, and I was like, this is a great opportunity. And it's gone really well. And after that, I got a lot of sales and a lot more support, especially from other states and other parts of the US that I hadn't reached before. And when I launched nationwide shipping, I was able to bring my donuts to all those people who had seen me on the show earlier that month in January.
That's pretty cool. Do you maybe see yourself on the set of your own television show, say maybe the Food Network one of these days?
Yeah, that would be super cool if I could have a baking show or something like that, or even just to like be there to like bring my donuts on one of those shows. That would be awesome, and I'd love for an experience like that.
I could see you and Duff hanging out a little bit and baking some stuff.
Yes.
Right? I mean, how fun could that be? I mean, that's got to be, something like that would probably be really cool, right?
I applied to the Kids Baking Championship back in 5th grade, and I almost got to like the whole story there. I almost got on the show, but then like they had all these things, and I'm not a big cake making person personally, or cupcakes or stuff like that. I was more of a chocolate person, as baking wise, and bread and stuff like that. But on the show, they didn't want that. Like I made cakes for the show, but I didn't enjoy, like for when I was applying and stuff, but I didn't really enjoy making cakes. And they asked me to make like 5 different things, and it just kept going on. And I was like, I don't want to do this that much. It's not like
you'd rather go make money and do your own business than be on a show at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more with Kiran, the whole business process, and of course, some challenges that come along with that. And remember, if you're enjoying this episode, hit subscribe and follow us so that you don't miss next week's episode. More with Kiran of Delicious Donuts Incorporated right after this. Attention educators, meet the Logitech Zone Learn, the classroom headset designed for learners and built for schools. Engineered for comfort and durability, the Zone Learn delivers crystal clear audio, helping students focus and fully engage during lessons, group projects, and online learning. Built to last, its modular design adapts to any classroom setting and ensures a reliable, distraction-free learning experience. With Zone Learn, your students can hear the difference, which helps boost learning. For more information, visit logitech.com/Zone Learn. Looking for teaching resources that truly engage and inspire your students? Discover Highly Motivated on Teachers Pay Teachers, your go-to source for ready-to-use lesson plans, interactive notebooks and lapbooks, test prep passages, and meaningful small group projects. Designed by educators for educators, these resources save you time while boosting student motivation and learning. Highly Motivated, motivating teaching resources that engage and inspire. For more, search Highly Motivated on Teachers Pay Teachers today. Welcome back to Classroom Dynamics, where today my guest is 14-year-old Kiran Madan, where we're diving glaze first into the sweet sprinkle-covered wholehearted world of donuts. A lot of students have big ideas as to what they'd like to do with their lives, but most hesitate to act on them because they just don't know where to start. What advice would you give youngsters who are maybe about your age, and maybe might be afraid to take that first step, and they're not really sure, or they might just think, I'm too young, I can't do that. I have to wait. I have to go to college. I have to do other things first. What would you say to them?
I'd say the big commitment and the big thing to do is to just take, even if you're afraid, face your fears, take that first step. All you need is the first step. You don't need a big goal in mind. Everybody's like, how am I, I didn't think of a donut cart. That wasn't my goal. I was just a table that I bought at for $30 at the 99-cent store and a tray of donuts. That's it. And from there, I grew from there. So if you are thinking big in the beginning, that's great. Think big is always great. But you have to start small. And from there, you'll be able to grow to what you want to do in the future. But just really start with the smallest thing possible. That counts as starting in the first place. And then you'll find how you can grow and where you can grow and what areas you can grow. And just really take that first step and you'll go far.
Do your parents lend advice along the way, whether it's business, money, just the process, as you navigate through your continued growth of Delicious Donuts?
Definitely. Yeah. My mom, that helps me with all the taxes and finance because they don't really teach that in school. And I've been able to learn a lot about financial literacy at a young age. So definitely they've helped me in that form, but they do not bake that much. So that part's on me more.
And you're a New York City kid. You're a New York City public school kid. So I think teachers who are listening in New York City, and I know there are a lot, maybe we need to start talking and teaching a little bit more in terms of business and finances and budget and all that savings, right? I think that's I think it's obviously you've taught yourself and you've learned a lot of that from your parents and other adults in your life. But I also agree that, schools, not just in New York City, but really everywhere should teach those basics, because without it, you're experiencing money and business and finances every single day in some form or another, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if so many more kids learn that in school, they're already trying to put it in, but not enough. I feel like if you can really get kids to learn that in school, it'll help them in the future, because outside of school, they're going to need to know finances. And I'm still a kid, but I know I'm going to need these finance skills for the rest of my life, because it's essential skill to have.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And also talking about good business sense, that also requires some resilience. And, being 14 years of age, you can probably hit a lot of failure along the way, right? So what's been really your toughest challenge so far? How did you push through it and get to that other side? Just, knowing that, your age does play a role in resiliency.
The biggest challenge that I had going into all this was really just committing. This was a big commitment. And I feel like this is a challenge everybody will have. And I've known other kids who tried to start businesses and stuff like that. Commitment is the biggest thing, because you need to dedicate your time to this. I dedicate a lot more time than just Sundays for this business. And I feel like commitment is the biggest thing. And I'm so happy to be able to have given my commitment to this, because it's paid off in such great ways. That's the biggest one, especially commitment leads to everything. Another big challenge, waking up early, especially on days where I have a big market or a big thing early in the morning. I have to wake up at 3 or 4, and it's you have to be committed to doing that, and it'll really pay off in the end. But that's definitely the biggest challenge you will face, or I have faced going into this business.
I know you're only 14, but do you sleep?
Yeah, yes, I sleep.
You probably get really good deep sleep for a very short period of time before you have to get up for those 3 a.m., wake up calls.
Thankfully, I don't have to wake up 3 a.m. all the time, but
I'm sure on a school day, you're probably happy waking up at a regular normal hour versus the weekends where you have to get up a little bit earlier, right?
Thankfully, my school actually starts pretty late, so that's very nice.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, well, we're going to take one final quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap things up with Kiran, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Every student deserves a chance to succeed. At Catapult Learning, we close learning gaps through targeted tutoring, direct student support, and proven intervention programs. Our proprietary curriculum and our ability to customize with your district's materials ensure every child gets the instruction they need when they need it. For 45 years, Catapult's evidence-based model has transformed schools in New York City and across the nation. Catapult Learning, inspiring students, unlocking potential. For more information, visit us at catapultlearning.com.
Welcome back to Classroom Dynamics. Let me ask you one good final question here. So you are a New York City schools kid, so you have some background here, but if teachers, and you kind of hinted on this already a little bit, but I want you to get a little bit deeper with it. If teachers wanted to help students think more like young businessmen and women, again, your age or thereabouts, kind of like you did, what would you want them to encourage more of in the classroom?
Definitely creativity. That's the biggest thing, like the whole creative aspect of it and kind of just following your dreams. That's a big one that I feel like in school, you can kind of be enclosed to like 8 periods a day, same subject, whatever, that type of stuff. But just going outside of the box and outside of those boundaries to do what you want to do in life and encourage you to like explore all these different cool careers, and not even careers, but also just like passions and hobbies, exploring that and being encouraged to like use your creativity, use your mind and do what you want to do is definitely one of the biggest things that I feel like can be pushed to doing this. Like I know there are teachers in my school who support my business and help me and give me advice sometimes if I need it. And those are the biggest like things, because like those small things have helped my entire school thing. Like my art teacher, actually, she gave me the idea for nationwide shipping, not for the actual nationwide shipping part of it, but I did not know how to ship. I tested and I'd been shipping donuts, and like the glaze would end up all like either slid off the donut or like kind of sticky. It wasn't the same. She actually gave me the idea to put the glaze into a separate packet and ship the donut and then the glaze on the side. And that was like, that worked. And it worked perfectly. And I've been shipping now for the past month and it's gone really well. And I'm so happy that, and just that tiny bit of encouragement and that tiny bit of support has pushed me a long way. So I feel like just encouraging and supporting, especially for creativity, can be one of the biggest aspects that can help people to start doing what they love.
Kiran, you are well beyond your years. You are exceptionally wise with this stuff at age 14. It is very impressive. And it's really cool that you're actually listening to other adults when they make a suggestion. Not that you have to act on it every time. That's not necessarily the case. But the fact that you're kind of taking in that feedback and kind of giving it some thought, I think it's working for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, listen, the donut world is in very good hands. So I'm very happy that you're around because, yes, there's Duncan and others. And sometimes you want something a little bit more special, and I can't wait to try some of these. Kiran, listen, your story has proved that when passion meets action, success rises. Thanks for sharing your journey today and reminding our listeners that opportunity is always within reach. You just have to take a bite, especially if you're just 14. Don't be afraid to do that. Before we go, tell everyone, and really everything you have on this, right? Tell everyone where they can go to find out more about you and where people can go find out more about Delicious Donuts and all of your social and everything out there.
We ship across the nation at deliciousdonutsinc.com. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at deliciousdonutsinc. And then if you are in New York City, I have a donut cart March through December, Sundays 2 to 4, Wednesdays 5 to 7 at 387 Grand Street. And I'm doing local pickup for the rest of February until March comes around. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. This has been great. I can't wait for people to hear this. For those of you who have been listening, thank you for tuning in today, and make sure that you share what you've learned or any takeaways or reflections that you've had, and tag us on X at Class Dynamics or Instagram at Classroom Dynamics Podcast. You can also find out all of our links, including information about our sponsors, on our link tree at Classroom Dynamics. We always look forward to hearing your thoughts on our episodes and sharing the different ways in which you're using what you've learned. And more importantly, please share this episode with one colleague who you feel can benefit from today's show. You can also help support Classroom Dynamics with as little as $3 a month at classroomdynamicspodcast.buzzsprout.com. Once again, I'd like to thank Kiran Madan of Delicious Donuts for joining us today. Amazing, amazing. I applaud you for all that you're doing, especially at your age. Thanks for being with us. Great conversation, and best of luck with the business and everything.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Classroom Dynamics. Dynamics. I hope today's conversation sparked something meaningful for you, maybe a new idea, a fresh perspective, or just a little boost of motivation to take back to your classroom. Remember, it's never too late to strengthen your craft, and if there's ever a moment to re-energize your work, why not make it today? I'm Adam Todd, and you've been listening to Classroom Dynamics, a teacher podcast. Follow us on X at Class Dynamics and on Instagram at Classroom Dynamics Podcast. If you haven't already, go to your favorite podcast platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. We'll be back soon with more captivating conversations, inspiring stories, and strategies that you can implement into your everyday routines. Until then, keep that spark alive and never underestimate the incredible impact you have as an educator. You're more powerful and inspirational than you think. Did you miss our episode, How a Plush Dog Named Turbobo is Transforming Mental Health in Schools? If so, meet Turbobo, the plush therapy dog created by Brown University student Ryan Mealy to reduce stress, ease anxiety, and build resilience. Catch up now and discover how one hug at a time is making a big impact.
If you can imagine a middle school student, 7th grader, my friend's getting pulled out, not really sure what to do, very scary situation. So that was also kind of the nudge I took to really launch this into a real support company. Is the whole idea is how do you create this physical tool that you can introduce as early as elementary school to give them that kind of personalized experience on how to manage that anxiety and really give them the tools and resources they need. So hopefully they don't end up like a couple of my friends did. So that's kind of a two-pronged approach to why Turbobo means a lot to me and why I even started it.